Welcome to OState Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Chase with Whiskey. Chase, I know you are a pissed son of a bitch tonight, so I'm going to let you have at it. Chase Unfiltered right here.
Yeah. I that's to say the least.
Let me hit mute. Hold on a second.
Oh.
Let me hit mute. Let me get some popcorn. Let's have at it, right?
There we go. Well, I don't agree with what happened yesterday. I don't agree.
Can you make yourself a little bit smaller? You're kind of big on the screen there. There you go.
Better?
Right there. Perfect. Yes.
I don't agree with what happened yesterday. I don't agree with the timing of it. I don't agree with a whole lot of things that happened yesterday, but I don't get paid to make those decisions, and I'm just a guy behind a microphone right now. So
yeah. So tell me what you don't agree with. I mean, what phases of this? What are all the aspects of it that are chapping your ass the most right now? This is our unfiltered show, so we like to have a lot of fun in this one. So what are the parts that you don't like about this? Because you and I are going to disagree on this, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, the first things that happened on a Tuesday after you let the guy do a press conference, you let the guy do a radio show, you let the guy do everything that he's used to doing, and then you fire him on a Tuesday morning, like he's gearing up for the week. I would have understood a little bit more if we would have woke up to news on Sunday morning saying, hey, he's been let go, so on or so forth, or even Saturday night, or I guess because they played on Friday, Saturday morning or Sunday morning, one of the two. Do it on the weekend. Don't let him do his normal activities, going and gearing up for a game week, and then call him into your office on a Tuesday and fire him. I think that's bullcrap.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't want to give him the chance to talk and explain to donors and explain to. This was the worst loss Oklahoma State's had in a long, long time. This is worse than South Alabama. I mean, we almost lost to Missouri State in 1996, but we won. By the way, we won that game. David Thompson scored. Very first overtime game in the history of Division I college football. My dad was actually officiating that game. That's why I know that. It's not why I know that, because I was there, and I was right in front of David Thompson scoring. Okay, so this is maybe the worst home loss of all time. All right, so my point to that is the donors aren't happy about it. So why not give Coach Gundy the ability Monday to create a message and a narrative that will at least make these people satisfied for the moment to where they're not calling for his head? Why not give him the chance to explain it himself?
I don't know. I don't know. I've heard things as well to the fact that he was not able to tell his own team what was going on. That bothers me too.
Coach Gundy has addressed the team.
He did, but it was after they had already found out that what had happened. From my understanding, they had heard from other sources, other people, not from Mike Gundy.
So whose fault would that be? I mean, Coach Gundy. It was stated that Coach Gundy and was Tuesday morning. He was informed well before the team. Do you think they told Coach Gundy just don't go around the team?
I don't know the exact
time. So whose fault would that be, would be my point. I don't know. If somebody from the university got to the team before Mike Gundy did, whose fault would that be?
That I truly don't know, because I don't know the timing of what happened. I don't know if there was a press release and everybody else found out through social media before the team found out. I think the team found out either through the media or somebody else. I don't think they found out from him, and I think that it happened bang bang.
What makes you think that? I'm just curious. Do you have people that have been telling you that, or?
I hear things. I'll just put it that way. That I hear things, and if that's true, I don't know. I don't know.
Hear things from like players, people that are inside. You don't have to give names, but people inside the program. Or are you hearing it from like donors, or like people that go to games, or are you just hearing it like through Twitter or on the radio?
No, I'm just going to leave it at I hear some things. That's all I'm comfortable saying. But at the same time, again, if this is true, I don't agree with that. I know that he did address the team following their practice from at least from a social media standpoint. That's what it seemed like, with Kenyatta Wright posting a picture of him actually getting to talk to the team and address the team, and it happened after practice. So I don't know if that was his first interaction with them that day. I don't know any of that.
But my question is, if that was his first interaction with the team that day, whose fault is that?
It depends on when the group found out.
There's no chance that Chad Weiberg told Coach Gundy that that the team is off limits. There's no chance that he told Coach. Any administrator in that situation is going to encourage their coach to go address the team. They're not going to tell them to stay away. It's not like he did anything illegal or immoral. Right. There's no way if he didn't address the team, which I'm not saying that, you're saying that if that's the case, if you're right there and that indeed is the case, there's no way that there were barriers put up between him and his team. That's totally on him if that happened.
Right. No, what I'm saying is I don't think, and this is hearsay. I don't know if this is true or not, but if he was not able to be the first person to address his team about the situation, I have a major problem with that, in my opinion.
I think we all would, but how would that go down?
Because you said, he didn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying you think somebody told him, hey, let me address the team before you?
No, what I truly think happened was there was stuff that was released on social media prior to him even being able to address it.
From who?
That I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the timing of which it happened, but from my understanding, with what went down, it was all mid to late morning, and we found out mid to late morning via social media. And
Coach Gundy and Chad Weiberg had met 2 to 3 hours prior to that.
No, that's what I'm saying is the meeting took place. This really when we were finding out about it is what I'm saying. Like it was a bang bang type of thing. I don't know.
So you think Chad Weiberg or Coach? If that's the case, then Coach Gundy's the one who leaked it. Chad Weiberg would not have done that. Nobody from the university would have leaked that to the media before Coach Gundy would have had a chance to address his team. There's no way that would happen. Zero chance. So if that was leaked to the media, that came from Coach. I'm not the one saying that. I'm just saying if that did get leaked to the media and the kids found out through the media, through social media, because the media guys were releasing it from that perspective, the only way they got that information was from Coach Gundy's side and not from the university side. That's the only way that went down.
I'm not inside the program or anything like that. I'm just saying if this is true, I don't think that's okay. I'm not saying that it did or did not.
I don't think anybody would think that's okay.
No, that's the perspective that I'm coming from. I don't think that's okay if all of that stuff is true. But moving on, I mean, the next thing that I don't think is necessarily okay is the fact that they fired him midseason. I don't agree with that, and I understand that you have to move much quicker than what you used to in terms of portal and in terms of recruitment and in terms of all those things.
It's not that; it's the donor money. You're not going to be able to build a new roster if you don't.
Right, and I understand that, but why don't you at least give him until midseason to see what happens?
I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah,
to see what happens. Yeah. Yes, Tulsa was a bad loss. Don't get me wrong. Oregon, horrible loss, but at the same time, you can't ignore what a guy has done for 20 previous years and just wad it up and throw it in the trash. Okay. Now the last 15 months or 12 months or whatever it's been have not been good.
I don't think they did wad it in the trash. I think they gave him a chance to correct it, and he didn't. I think that was his chance, and it's gotten worse.
But again, you have to look at it from the perspective of this guy has a brand new staff. He has 60-something.
No, you don't. They got beat by Tulsa. They did the same thing. I think you could say that until you got beat by Tulsa. I think once you got beat by Tulsa, all that went out the window.
Maybe I'm more patient in this situation than most people would be, but like I said, I can't ignore the fact that he did what he did over the course of however long he was here, 21 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's why I have an issue with doing it after week 3. Now, if it's
I have an issue with I've said that. I even said that on my social media post. I would have done it after you realize you can't have a winning season at that point.
Right. Give him until week 6.
So once you've lost 7 games, adios.
Right. Give him until week 6 or 8 is my opinion. And then I think it's a little bit more understanding because you still have time to talk to other coaches. Mm-hmm. You still have time to the portal thing and all that stuff. What also is a case now is now that he has been fired, what's going to happen, I think, after Saturday is you're going to see a lot of our players that are playing for us right now enter the transfer portal because they have 30 days to allow.
So they're gonna take the chance of trying to find somewhere else, because once you do that, Oklahoma State's not on the hook for your contract anymore. Okay, so now you go into transfer portal. Let's say you're making $1 million or whatever it might be on NIL money. You're on a team that absolutely is totally hot garbage right now. Okay, so which players on Oklahoma State's team is going to go to the transfer portal and improve their stock in mid-season right now when everybody else's roster is already full?
Right. I'm not saying that they're going to be picked up mid-season. What I'm saying is they're going to be.
Well, then they're going to lose their contract. They're going to lose their money.
Right. These guys all have agents now. They don't. They don't represent themselves as far as I know. I mean, some of them I'm sure do, but a lot of them have agents. So I'm sure agents are making phone calls right now to other schools saying, "Hey, I've got this. What can you give us? What can you do for us?" And the other
and what
thing
do you think that answer is right now, right before your fourth game of the year?
Depends on who it is. You know,
okay, for any school that has that increase the stock of any player, meaning they're going to a better situation, a better team. How many of those teams right now have openings for any of the Oklahoma State players?
Like what I'm saying, not depending on who it is school-wise, depending on who it is player-wise. There's a couple guys that come to me. I don't want to get into naming people,
sure,
but there's a couple guys on our roster that could go other places, probably make more money and do well and play well.
Why didn't they do that in the offseason?
I think that with guys that hung around, they did not want to leave Oklahoma State with that bad of a taste in their mouth, to be honest with you. Or they felt like they had something more. They're like, hey, I have a situation where I can play. I know for a fact I'm going to play here.
Of course.
Give me one more year of film, or give me one more year to
They stayed because this was the best opportunity they had.
Right.
That's why people stay. Now, every once in a while you get an Ollie Gordon who's like, hey, I could probably go to Alabama, this and that, but this is a team but he stayed, and that group stayed because they literally felt like they had a chance to win a national championship. There was no player coming back this year that was under that illusion. If there was, then they're just dumb, okay? Right. Nobody should. We were all, I said 8 wins because I'm a dumbass, because I wasn't betting on the roster. I was betting on Coach Gundy's competitive nature, which that's one of the most disappointing things about this year is we haven't seen that. Right. If there is a player that was coming back like last year's group, they came back because, hey, we got a core here that we can win a national title with this next year. If they're under that illusion, I don't know what to tell them at that point. So to me, every single player that came back to OSU, they came back because OSU was the best situation for them, whether it be NIL, whether it be they have a girlfriend here, or whether they are getting paid the most. That is not going to change just because the transfer portal is going to open up for them because we have a new coach, because we have fired our old coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think that another thing too, though, the reason why I'm saying this, you can play up to 4 games and still receive a red shirt.
Understood.
This will be game number 4.
Understood. So you're still going to lose your contract for this year, though.
Right, but what I'm saying is you can play on Saturday. You have a full another year, especially for guys that aren't going to the NFL, which right now, and quite honestly, in my opinion, except for maybe 1 or 2 guys, there's nobody on this team that's going to the NFL.
And not to mention, would it really matter? I mean, how many games is Oklahoma State going to win from now on?
You want me to be honest? I don't know if they're going to win a game.
Okay, so then what does it even matter if we lose players to the portal? I mean, why do we give a crap if we do lose players to the portal? You're talking about players that are going to – you just said we're not going to win another game. Why do we care if we lose people off that roster?
There's select guys that I would not like to lose. And you're already looking to – in my opinion, we look towards next year. Because this year is pretty much watered up and thrown in the trash, which is another reason why I think canning him.
Oh, I don't think it has to be. I think you can have a hell of a lot of fun with Coach Meacham not having the reins of Coach Gundy, not reeling things. I think Todd Grantham can dial up some fun. Why the hell do we care? Let's blitz 11 freaking guys, right? Let's throw Doug Meacham he might be auditioning not for the Oklahoma State job. He's not going to get this job. But he might be auditioning for the whatever other job, UTSA job or something like that, or right. Southern Miss or something like that. You are going to see a more motivated group of coaches than you have seen in a long time, Chase. There is a lot to play for. These players are all playing for their next contract. They're playing for their next best situation, whether it be here or at OSU. These coaches are coaching for their next best coaching gig that they have. There is way more to play for now. This is why you had to make this move, because Coach Gundy is the only one out of the whole organization that had nothing to be motivated for. He already had his contract made. He was fat and happy about that. Everybody else on this staff, players and coaches included now, are literally fighting for their lives. This actually put meaning back into this year for me.
See, I think that I think the opposite. Not for the coach's standpoint. I get where you're coming from for the coaches, but it's at the same time, as a player, if you lose your head coach, a lot of times guys come to play, not just at Oklahoma State. Guys go to play somewhere because of the coach, because of the head coach. Losing your leader. Losing your leader, and then,
Chase, you're a college recruiter.
Yeah.
Who recruits the players?
I do.
Okay. In college football, who recruits the players? Who do they come to play for?
Well, you go to play for your position coach.
Absolutely, you play for your position coach. Hell, these kids didn't even know who Coach Gundy was, most of them, but they damn sure know who they're. Well, I'm being facetious. I'm being sarcastic there.
I know where you're going.
But they damn sure had a much more big-time relationship with their position coach than they did. You're a pitcher than they did their head coach. You were a pitcher in college, right? You had a much, much deeper connection to your pitching coach, even if you didn't like the sumbitch, right, than you did the head coach, just because you spent time with them.
Right.
That's who they're committed to.
I get that, but at the same time, if you look at what's happening with our recruiting class and this incoming recruiting class, we've lost a lot of good players already.
So what? That means we can't get them back?
I'm not saying we can't get them back, but I think that goes to show you that when you have somebody at the helm that has proven time and again that he can be successful at that level, that's attractive to a player. That is absolutely attractive.
It's not attractive to very many players because our recruiting has absolutely sucked ass.
Right. Well.
Okay. So I don't know what if you're making an argument about good recruiting versus bad, you're going to lose that one, Chase.
I'm not saying it's
this is fun,
good
by the way.
recruiting.
This is how we always talk to each other.
When you have guys like the running back from Jenks, for example, he's a top 10 running back in the country. He came to play for Mike Gundy. Quite honestly, he decommitted.
He's not as good as Rodney Fields right now.
No,
I guarantee he's not.
No, but does he come in and play as a sophomore? Probably. He might get carries as a freshman, to be honest with you, not as a starting running back. But he's gonna get an opportunity to play if he's truly that good.
You cannot make decisions based on fear. If Oklahoma State is indeed the best situation for him, Chase, then all you got to do is go hire a good coach, a coach that has a fun offensive scheme that will be attractive to players, and then go recruit the guy. Go re-recruit that same recruit. And if you hire a good coach, one that kids will go, oh, that's going to be a fun offense. That's going to be a good offense. This coach is going to be successful. If you can sell that to a recruit, which if you can't, you're screwed anyways, right?
Right.
But if you can sell that, which you're going to have to anyways to have any kind of success, you're going to re-recruit that guy anyways, and you're not going to lose him.
Yeah.
And if you are going to lose him, then that's not a guy that was going to stay at OSU anyways.
Just with some of these players, like I don't know if Oklahoma State was their best opportunity, but they chose Oklahoma State. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what the case is because I'm not in any kid's life that chooses to come here. But I think a lot of it had to do with who was your head coach and what he has proven over 20 years. I think that there's going to be, I'm not saying next year is going to be a bust, but what I'm saying is next year I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to have expectations as a recruit going into a coach. Some of these coaches have been that people are talking about. Some of them have been head coaches. Some of them haven't been. In my opinion, that's hard to recruit. That's hard to recruit to, and to get a kid and a family to trust.
What's hard to recruit to? You talking about our assistants right now?
No. I'm saying whoever the new head coach is. Unless you bring up somebody with years of head coaching experience that has proven that they can win at the Power Four Division I level or higher. I think it's going to be hard to sell recruits and guys that this is the place for you. This is the best place for you. Because my first question as a recruit is how are you going to outperform Dan Lanning? How are you going to outperform Brent Venables? How are you going to go outperform whoever the head coach is at K-State? How are you going to do that? And they're not going to have a response because you want to
know my answer to that is Coach Gundy's recruiting has sucked. Okay, point blank. Now, do you want to make a bet whether the next guy's recruiting classes will be better than Coach Gundy's? I'll make you that bet. I'll bet you whoever Oklahoma State brings in, which is going to be a fantastic young coach, okay? That's what Oklahoma State's getting ready to get. Oklahoma State, it's going to be, trust me. Oklahoma State is getting ready to get a fantastic young coach. It's just whatever type of style you want, that's going to be the determining factor. And that fantastic young coach is going to recruit better than Coach Gundy has recruited at any time in the last 10 years. That is going to happen.
I think
so. The recruiting argument part of it, I just don't see how somebody who is making that argument to keep Coach Gundy has any kind of credence to that, because Coach Gundy's recruiting has not been good, and the recruiting is going to get better. First of all, you heard Chad say it yesterday, the NIL monies are going to get better. You're going to have you're going to spread more money around.
I do get that. I think the recruiting classes themselves have kind of been brought into light over the last few years because of the new era of college football. And I think that has to do with NIL transfer portal, which he wasn't fully bought into that.
No, he wasn't.
I think that when you go before that, yes, the recruiting classes were not great, but the teams were always pretty good. And he had his way of doing things, which is, personally, I don't think he'll coach again because I don't think he wants to be a part of this. But because his
which is a problem in and of itself. That tells you he's not coaching because he wants to coach. He's coaching because he has a good contract and it's comfortable and there's no reason for him to quit. That's not a good situation. If that's your statement about Coach Gundy, my opinion.
I think that while he was adjusting to the new times, his recipe for success that he's had over the 15 prior years to NFL or NIL and transfer
100%.
portal, again, I use the term watered up and throw it out the window. That's exactly what happened. You can't bring young guys in that are 2- and 3-star guys and develop them for 2 years and then turn them into really good football players. You can't do it anymore.
So is he going to change?
He's pretty much at the age of 50, whatever he is, 58.
Yes.
He's at the age of 58. Everything that he's learned up to this point,
100%.
He's having to relearn it. I'm saying is I don't know if he has. If I was him, I wouldn't have the desire to try to learn a whole brand new system that I've worked
making
my
that statement. Then is he going to change?
Is
he going to change? You're making the statement that Coach Gundy is not going to coach again because he's not willing to change. Correct? There's no reason for him to change. Correct?
I'm not saying he's not willing to. Because I think you were starting to see a little bit of light or a little bit of his change especially this year with using the transfer portal and NIL money.
Yeah, but look at the guys they went and got. They went and got NAIA guys, Division II guys
right.
from smaller schools. I believe Akron is where Brian McCoy. I mean, they went and got coaches that were unemployed. Chase, he put 5 minutes into this roster. I mean, yes, it was. He returned everything over, but it was very token in the sense that he did it in the least amount of effort he possibly could have.
Well, I mean, we'll have to agree to disagree.
I mean, how long do you think it took him to recruit Terrell Davis or Brian McCoy or Brandon Rawls, who came from a totally different division of football, or Christian Fitzpatrick from Marshall? How long do you think it took to recruit those guys?
I don't know. Here's my argument to that.
Or Freddie Brock,
my argument. Well, Freddie Brock came from Georgia Tech, right?
Georgia State, yeah.
It was at Georgia State.
Yes.
I thought it was Georgia Tech.
No, Georgia State.
Anyways, my argument, my rebuttal to that is he was doing it, and this is to no fault of his own. it is his fault because he had to wipe out an entire staff. He was doing that by himself for weeks. I mean, that's a tough job to handle. And when you hire guys, you hire coordinators, you hire position players.
Kenyatta Wright's pretty good at his job. That's what Kenyatta Wright is paid to do.
Right, but you have two guys trying to fill an entire roster. That's really
he hired
hard.
his coaches pretty fast. He hired his coaches and then let his coaches hire his coach. I mean, literally Todd Grantham hired all the defensive coaches.
Right.
Literally Doug Meacham hired all the offensive coaches. You have Kenyatta Wright to put together a roster. Your assistant coaches that you hired pretty fast are putting together a roster. Right. And then you put together a roster that took one phone call to recruit basically ever. I mean, I'm exaggerating to that extent, but you recruited the type of kid that wouldn't be very hard to recruit because they're taking such a step up to come to Oklahoma State. It's not like you're trying to pry somebody away from Georgia Tech.
What I think was happening was they were scrambling to do it. I don't think there was a whole lot of time to get this done, is what I'm saying. Right. Because you let go of your coaches, you hire new ones, and then the next thing you know, the transfer portal is closed. So you are scrambling and trying to just honestly to fill a roster and to get the best guys that you can get. That's my argument.
Did he get the best guys he could have gotten with the money he was given?
I don't know the money he was given.
Well, I can tell you this: he didn't use the money. There was less money available because he's pissed people off, and then second of all, whenever you go, so if you go recruit Terrell Davis from UCO, okay, here's my biggest point: how much money is it going to take to go get him? Is it going to take as much money to get him, or if you go pluck the second string guy from Alabama?
That's going to take a lot more money.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So whenever you hear these recruiting budgets from Coach Gundy, it's bullshit because it's his fault. It's because it's the guys that he's recruiting. So when you go get a guy from Guthrie, Oklahoma, and all you have to do to recruit that guy is drive 30 minutes one way, sit in the office, tell a couple of jokes, be the funniest guy in the room, and walk out, how much money does it take to recruit that guy? That's the life that Coach Gundy has lived, right? That's why our budgets have been lower, not because we don't have the money. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Our budgets are lower because that's the type of recruiting practices and recruiting habits that Coach Gundy has had.
Right. And again, I think that comes with the fact that you have to. He did not. This is where I'm going to say it's not okay. He did not adjust to the new time.
Yeah,
very well, and he didn't do that very quickly. And like I'm saying, what he did was he went in with the approach. Once this whole thing started, was I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing.
Yeah,
because I've been successful doing it.
I think you had the right plan. I think you go recruit high school kids, you develop them, and you spend all your NIL money to retain those guys. I think the plan last year was a good plan. It's just that Alan Bowman and some of the offensive linemen that were injured, and then once they realized that they weren't going to win a national title, which was the only reason they came back, that point they lost all interest in even playing. Hey, I can tell you, Paul Blair will tell you. Paul Blair may be the best offensive lineman Oklahoma State's ever had. 1985, all of those guys came back after the 1984 season. They all thought they had a chance to win a national title in 1985, okay? And so he will tell you himself that by about week 8, when they realized the national title picture was out the window, that was pretty much it for them. They were like, and they happened to be talented enough and good enough to win all the games except for OU and Nebraska that year. But he will tell you himself the motivation was gone. That's what happened to last year's team. But last year's team didn't have Paul Blair and Thurman Thomas and Rusty Hilger and all those incredibly good players all those unbelievable defensive players and those guys. So they weren't talented enough to go into, well, we're not winning a natty. We're not winning the Big 12 title. Screw this. They weren't good enough to have that attitude and do anything other than embarrass OSU. That's what happened. He had the right formula to get this roster that's good enough to make a Big 12 title, pay that roster to keep them. But the problem is last year's team sabotaged that because they lost all motivation.
Right. And I understand. Again, I understand where you're coming from. But now what I'm saying, and if you're looking at this year, you come back with guys that have zero experience. You have no experience at this level. You have no experience, period. You're going into a season. you can't expect that to go very well.
Right.
I'm not choosing sides when I say this. I'm just pointing out facts. I mean, you can't, when you bring in guys that have no experience, or you go with the formula of, hey, I'm like you said last year, I'm going to bring in freshman guys, I'm going to pay them, and I'm going to try to retain them.
Yeah.
Those guys got no experience last year. And if they did, it was bad experience when you're down by 50-something points to Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect it to go well. You can't. Now I'm not saying it's okay to lose to Tulsa. By any means.
What you're saying is OSU is going to have to rebuild, which I think Oklahoma State fans would be.
That's what was happening.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, I think Oklahoma State fans would be okay with a rebuild this year if last year had been a 10-win season, and then this year was going to look like a 5 or 6 win season. Oklahoma State fans are okay with a rebuild like that if two things. If the year where you're supposed to be good, or the 2 years you're supposed to be good, you actually are, which we weren't last year. And then on your rebuild years, it's not losing to Tulsa at home. It's, hey, we're competitive in all of our games. It's exactly what Coach Gundy said, even against the good teams. It's 2 or 3 plays here or there, and we're 6-6, and we go play in some bowl named after a cracker in Arizona. That's a rebuild year for Oklahoma State, right? I think Oklahoma State fans would be okay with that.
Yeah, but what's your record right now?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is why Oklahoma State fans aren't happy with the way it's gotten too nuclear.
I understand, but again, that's my argument. Is you're 3 games in. You're
but see, what I'm trying to tell you is this is coming off of Oklahoma State trying to replace its entire roster off of the transfer portal. I mean, that's. You're arguing against going and getting your whole roster from the transfer portal because that's what they did. Now, come to find out, the players that were already here. So if you look at the starters, Chase, almost 80% of the starters in this team actually were here last year. So what does that tell you about the kids that you developed versus the kids that you brought in?
I don't know. I mean, I think that all of it was prematurely done. I mean that's my true opinion. Yeah. I mean I don't know. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine.
Oh, absolutely fine.
I mean that's fine. I don't care.
We're just having a hell of a good time. So
I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. You can call me an idiot, call me whatever you want. But I think that the firing was premature, again, for the points that we just made of the fact that you don't have anybody that's returning, that's been here, that's played any minute of Oklahoma State football that's worth a dang. You don't. You can't expect it to go well. And again, I'm not saying it's okay to lose to Tulsa, but I'm also saying it's not okay to fire a guy that's been here for 21 years, that's 1-2 to start out the season with, he had 2 bad losses. Okay. At least let him get to
No,
whatever.
he doesn't have 2 bad losses. Do you not remember Colorado last year?
Last year is last year. I'm not saying.
It's all a continuation, man. It's all a continuation. I don't think you can separate them.
It's bad. I
because let me put it this way: if they had been really good last year and made the Big 12 championship game and started like they did this year, would we even be talking about firing Coach Gundy?
No.
So of course they're connected, right?
I get it. But now you're comparing a year and a quarter to 18 or 19 year or whatever it is. That's my
Chase,
argument.
this program's been hemorrhaging ever since 2021. So 2022 was terrible. 2023 started off terrible. And then we changed our scheme to gap scheme. We were good for about a month and a half. We had terrible games even then. Then we weren't as good down the stretch. We were completely outmatched by Tulsa. Last year sucked. This year sucked. So I can make the case that since 2021, when Coach Gundy said, hey, we have a brand too, we've had exactly about maybe a month and a half of good football, and the rest of it has been complete ass.
Yeah,
I can make that case.
I'm not ignoring those things. The frustration comes from the fact that he was fired 3 games into a season. That I don't think that's okay.
I got no pushback on that. I would have waited again until you realized that your season was going to be a losing season. I don't have any pushback.
Like I said, I don't have an issue if you fire him in week 8. I don't. I get it at that point. Yeah. I understand.
I'm with you on that. We're
you have nothing. You're working towards nothing at that point, and honestly, you might be doing yourself a disservice do you not fire him in week 8 so that you can start the recruiting process, you can start talking to other coaches? It didn't need to happen this early.
But you also don't know what's happening in the donor rooms either. I mean,
no,
you don't know
I think
the decisions are different nowadays.
This is an unpopular opinion because I personally, I'm not a huge fan of where college athletics period are at right now. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that big donors get to make big time decisions. I don't like that.
No doubt.
And it takes you're going. And I'm sounding like an old man, and I'm only 25. But you go from.
That's awesome.
Even when I was choosing a school, not too long ago, when I was choosing a school to go and play at, NIL was not a thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. I chose what school best fit me, not only for my education, but for my coaches. Where did I have the best relationship with my coach?
100%.
That stuff does not matter anymore. The only thing that matters is money. And I think that is so wrong. I think that is so
nobody's going to
twisted.
That, yeah.
And you're going to see 12-team playoff, phenomenal. You're going to see the same 16 teams over and over and over again. And the thing that those 16 teams are going to have in common, minus your non-power forward team, is they are going to have, if not the highest budgets, some of the highest budgets in terms of handing out money. It's going to be a repetitive, repeating thing, and it's not. I'm never going to stop watching it just because I'm obsessed with football. But it's the fact that nothing is ever going to change at this point until they say, "Hey, there is." And I'm all for guys getting paid if there's a cap. Sure. Everybody's under the same cap. Everybody has the same exact number of dollars to hand out. Now, if your budget is $12 million and you give a player $6 million, that's your thing. That's fine. I get that. But at the same time, everybody's got to be held to the same standard, because what's going to happen, and it's already started to happen, is schools with less money. Yeah. And again, the kid is choosing where he's going to get paid the most. It doesn't come down to who's the best coach. It doesn't come down to who's the best program. It doesn't come down to who has the best facilities, who has the best whatever for my school. It doesn't have any of that.
Right.
The only thing that matters now is where you're going to get paid.
Yep. Totally agree. That is absolutely, they need to definitely fix the system. But until they do, Oklahoma State has to figure out a way to be relevant in the system that there is here. So, hey, I hate to do this, but my Dodgers dogs are just about to rip me a new one, because they are ready to go on their WALK. I can't say the word because they will lose their mind. So we're going to go for a big, long walk. Chase, this has been absolutely awesome. By the way, this is just how we kind of do business. Next time it'll probably be me with the controversial topic, with Chase coming at me pretty hard, so that'll be fun too. So this is how we do things. Chase, I love you. Great job today, man.
Yep, we'll see you.
Okay, brother. See you, man.